Hello everyone, my name is Julia Lave-Johnston and I am the president of the California chapter of the American Planning Association. Welcome to my kitchen. As you can imagine, I've been spending quite a bit of time here lately. I want to thank you all for joining APA California for our first virtual conference, State of Change. I'm so excited for you all to see what we have planned. Rather than cancel our conference, APA California made the decision to meet virtually because we believe that now, more than ever, planners need to connect with each other. A big thank you to the Virtual Conference Planning Committee. The conference was organized in essentially 3 months with representation from all 8 chapter sections. I also want to thank the Riverside Host Committee for giving us such a great foundation to build on. The theme of our conference is State of Change, and California truly is in a state of change. The current situation in our state and our country weighs heavily on my mind. The daily struggle of keeping your family and yourself safe and sane is exhausting. I am relieved that my children are teenagers and would rather school me than have me school them. I have spoken to many of you whose friends and family have suffered from COVID-19. And even virtually, I can feel the sadness and anxiety you are experiencing. My heart breaks for you and all those who have suffered from the impacts of this pandemic. After George Floyd's death, so many of you reached out to me, cut deeply by the injustice, to say APA California has to say something, has to do something. I agree, we cannot be complicit and allow our profession to contribute to the continuation of systemic racism. Later this morning, our first big conversation will address planning's role in systemic racism and how we can be a voice for change. And now, as if to remind us that new challenges do not replace the old ones, California catches on fire. The fire maps remind me of my last birthday cake, way too many flames and only more to come. APA has given me a support network that has helped me through the challenges of being a young planner, a working mom, and several career shifts. Through this organization, I have learned a lot about how and how not to be a leader. Most importantly, APA has given me a platform to reach for my most important goal, doing what I can to make the world a better place. I always feel a little corny saying this, but I know that so many of you share this goal with me. This is especially true of the planning students I have the pleasure to speak with. APA has helped me make a difference by giving me a voice in policies that shape my community, my state, and my nation, and providing me opportunities to improve my professional effectiveness. No matter what your role is in APA, it gives all of you these same opportunities. As president, I feel that it is my responsibility to ensure that APA California is supporting and representing its members. But APA also has a code of ethics that calls upon us to look beyond our individual selves. Together, we represent the profession of planning. I have been reflecting on how, as an organization, we can meet the challenges and opportunities in this extraordinary moment in time. I do not believe that it is overly dramatic to say that the future of APA and the profession depends on us taking decisive action to address the systems that perpetrate racism and inequity and prevent us from acting on climate change and environmental degradation. How can we say we serve our communities if we do not act? I believe that it is not for me or APA leadership to determine what actions we take to address these issues, but for all of us collectively to decide what actions we take. The Statewide Conference Planning Committee has structured this conference around several big conversations that must be had and big questions that need to be answered for planning and APA to stay relevant and effective. Please participate in these important conversations. Listen, hear, and share with an open mind and curiosity. Welcome our young planners and planning students and encourage them to share their thoughts. They truly are the future of APA and the profession. Planners can be leaders in their communities. We are in a unique position to help connect people to their governments and empower and support them in representing the best interests of their communities. We can provide sound data for decision makers and shed light on the impact of their decisions. And we can work together to dismantle the systems and practices that reinforce inequities and racism, as we work to be more inclusive and increase the diversity of our profession. I know it sometimes seems overwhelming. Every day there seems to be more bad news, and 2020 isn't even over yet. But I truly believe that we wouldn't be planners and we wouldn't be here together this morning if we weren't hopeful for the future. Let's plan on making things better together. Now is the time. Let's plan to lead.
Planning should be about different voices at the table.
This is the field that helps shape the environments that in turn shape our lives. And I think it's a very exciting field to be in, especially right now.
And that's why I love being a planner. We should not be happy with the status quo.
I think urban planners are some of the most service-oriented people in the world. This was about how you're going to serve your community. Most urban planners I know live in the cities that they serve.
I want this world to be a better place after I leave it than when I joined it.
We're trying to understand what people need and how do we do it in a meaningful way that's fair and equitable across our communities.
You're constantly balancing competing interests. Land use has needs, the environment has needs, our economy has needs, our transportation system has needs, and us as planners get to sit in the intersection and try to find a solution that can work for the most people.
How do we make these big, bold changes that have a lasting impact for the positive and minimizing the negative short and long-term impacts?
I believe that we are all members of one human family. Planning really gets to the heart of that. How is it that we as members of a human family interact with one another? How do we go to school? How do we live next to each other? Are the ways that we live and interact and communicate and coexist, are they equitable? Are they healthy? Are they just?
So thank you so much for joining us this morning. So it is a little unnerving to be standing here in front of a blank screen. I actually prefer standing in front of several hundred people to this. So last night, my husband said to me when I got into bed, he said, "Welcome to your presidential suite, honey." So I am very excited to be here virtually with you all. Over the next few days, you're going to hear me say how grateful I am, and thank you many, many, many times. But moving a conference this size online has required all hands on deck. Despite all the other challenges the committee, the conference committee, and all the other folks who've been involved in putting this conference together have faced, whether they're quarantined and working from home and homeschooling children or experiencing tragedies in their family, they've really showed up. People have really showed up and they've made this conference happen. And I am extremely grateful. I have to say though, I'm also very excited to be doing a virtual conference. We've talked a lot about doing more things online for a long time because we understand that in order to reach all of our members, to be more equitable, to be more inclusive, we need to be able to have more people participate in conversations with us, to come to our conferences. And so this virtual platform allows us to be much more inclusive and especially being able to include our young planners and our planning students. So we're really excited for trying this out. And check back with me Wednesday and I'll tell you how I think it went. So I also want to thank, again, you all for showing up. I know that you're probably all tired of sitting in front of your computers. You're all tired of Zooming. And so many of us really appreciate this conference because it allows us to get out from behind our computers and interact with each other. So I really appreciate that you're here. So I also want to thank our conference sponsors. Our APA California really depends on the proceeds from our conferences to provide membership services all year long for both the chapter and the sections. So for example, we have an initiative to do more, we had an initiative to do more online learning, online education at the beginning of this year. And that was funded by our proceeds from our last conference. That initiative has allowed us to really hit the ground running and to be able to continue to provide membership services during the pandemic. So really, really important. The conference proceeds are really important. So please, please, please go visit our sponsor forums. Tell them how much you appreciate them, and thank them for their continued support, even during this really challenging time for a lot of them as well. I also particularly want to thank DUDEC. DUDEC has provided a lot of the Zoom backdrops for our conference, the one that's behind me, also section-specific ones. You should have gotten an email telling you how to get it. If not, you can find it in the app, our conference app, and please do download it if you'd like, and show which section you're from, so we can see where everyone is from. I think that'll be really interesting. It does not work on Remo, but it does work on Zoom. I also want to thank DUDEC for being our first annual sponsor for APA. This is a new sponsorship category, and we're very excited that DUDEC decided to become our first annual sponsor. Thanks, DUDEC. And I also want to thank our chapter board, who has really been supportive of this conference. And so if you all could stand up. Yay! Thank you so much for all of your hard work all the time, in particular during these really challenging times. So conference highlights, just very quickly. The conference is based around 3 big conversations. The first one is systemic racism and planning's role in that, and how we can be an agent for positive change. The second is the housing crisis. We have spent decades working on providing more housing for folks in California. For all of you who have done housing elements, you know how much work this is, how much time and effort we put into thinking about this. Tons of regulations. Why is it that this is such a persistent problem? How do we think outside the box to really address what we consider to be a human right, which is housing? And the last one is planning for post-pandemic future. So let's acknowledge the past and then move forward about how we can make a difference in the future. All right, let's see. Later today, 2 of my favorite events of the conference, the Diversity Summit and the CPF Student Scholarship Awards. And I promise you this year at the Student Awards, you will get a seat. No one will be shut out this year. So please do join us and congratulate all our amazing students. It was a record year for scholarship awards, and we're very excited to recognize these great future planners. On Tuesday, we have our 2020 legislative session. And you know that we have 2 of the most glamorous lobbyists in Sacramento, Sandy George and Lauren de la Valencia. So they'll be giving a rundown of what was an extremely different but extremely interesting year in legislation. So please do join us for that. On Wednesday, we have the 2020 APA California Chapter Awards. So y'all can try to find Colette at her table in Remo. And all I can say is, hashtag some things never change, hashtag day drinking. All right, so we tried really hard to bring all the best things to this conference. We tried to recreate what we like best about our in-person conference. And a lot of that has to do with networking and talking to each other and sharing ideas and engaging. So we do have several what we're calling planners exchanges, which will allow you to dialogue with each other about really important issues. So there's one on climate change, there's one on housing and homelessness, and there's one on post-pandemic community engagement. So please drop by, share your ideas, talk with your fellow planners. We have our usual mixers, student mixers. We have one with the Transportation Planning Division, the National Transportation Planning Division, and of course we have the diversity mixer as well. So please drop by, see your friends, your colleagues. We do have 2 leadership meetings. One is with our national leaders, President Kurt Christensen and our APA National CEO, Joe Albiza, will both be there, as well as our other California State national representatives. stop by, chat with them, talk about what APA National is thinking, and then we'll have the same thing for APA California. So come, give me a piece of your mind. Let me know what you think. I'd love, 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 love to hear from you. And then we have hallway chats. So, you know, so many of us spend a lot of time in the hallways during the conference, talking to each other, bumping into old friends. So we will, all 3 days, we do have an ongoing hallway chat. Drop in, see what's going on. I bet you'll find Bob Largo-Messino there. So there'll always be someone there to talk to. And then, of course, every evening, we'll have a virtual event to cap off the day. So the people will be virtual, the drinks will be real. I'm still looking for additional planning cocktails for the opening reception on Tuesday. You can email those to apacapresident@gmail.com, and we're hoping to highlight some of the best drinks that we get at that event. All right, so here's some operating instructions. This is a virtual platform. I mean, we've had lots of experience with Zoom, but this conference is a different animal. We've got several tracks going. We've got Zoom, we've got Remo, Zoom webinars, Zoom rooms, Remo. So there's a lot of moving pieces. So as I said, all the sessions will be either in Zoom webinar, Zoom meeting, or Remo rooms. For the best quality, so we can all hear you, use headphones if possible, mute when you're not speaking, of course. An Ethernet connection is best, or you can tell all the kids in your house to get off Wi-Fi if you're having problems. You can also turn off your video if you're experiencing problems, but please try to keep your video on. I think it's really important that we see each other. It makes the experience, I think, much more meaningful if we can see your faces. So I do understand you can't spend all day staring at yourself on Zoom, but particularly in the conversations, I hope that you'll tune in all the way. Let's see. So for troubleshooting tips and contact information, we do have a tech group available if you're having problems getting onto the conference or with any other kind of technology related things. That information is in our conference app. So please look to see, some of the sessions will be recorded. Our discussion group sessions, not so much, but the regular sessions, the CM credit sessions, will be recorded. They will be available probably about 12 hours after they play, and you can find a button to replay them in the conference app. These sessions, if you are a conference registrant, these sessions will be available to you for free until the end of December. I do want to just give you a tip for as you're thinking about what to attend. Since many of our sessions are being recorded, but our conversations and our networking events are not, I would prioritize networking, interacting with people, maybe over going to a session and then go back and watch it later, unless of course you have burning questions to ask our wonderful speakers. All right, we're almost done. So bathrooms are down the hall. In case of fire, move out of California. Sorry, maybe too soon. And please help us generate excitement during the conference by posting on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever your preference. The conference hashtag is hashtag 2020 State of Change, but you can also add hashtag APA California and hashtag planners are leaders. And of course, it's never too soon to remind you that we want your feedback from this conference, particularly from this conference. So please fill out the post-conference survey while you're still fresh in your mind, what you liked, what you didn't like, how we can do better. Because even though we hope to be back in person next year in Riverside, we will always have a virtual component to our conferences moving forward. And we really want to hear from you how we can make sure to provide that information to you in the best possible way. All right, you all, thank you very much. I'm so looking forward to seeing you all. And let's all go to our first big conversation.